What's going on, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Manup Real Talk podcast. I am your host with the most, Mr. Michael Wiley, saying greetings and salutations to all of you, our faithful followers and listeners. We appreciate everything that you do to support this podcast. Every like, click, share, and download, and whatever it is that you do to support, we greatly and awesomely appreciate it, because we know that had it not been for you, there would be no us. So if you're joining us for the first time, we want to say welcome. And for those that's back for another helping, we say welcome back, because your boys is back on the air with the Man Up Real Talk podcast, a podcast for the peoples. And joining me as always is my brother-in-law, my partner in crime, my ace boon coon, my left hand, my Robin to my Batman, my Jack to my flat tire, my peanut butter to my bananas. If you're into that sort of thing, Mr. Philip Hines, aka Mr. Classic, aka OG Triple OG, who is always and definitely in the building. What's going on, fam?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's hot and I'm okay because I'm in the air, man. It's like 5,000 degrees outside.
I got to turn my fan on when I'm talking, so I'm be on mute a whole lot because I got to turn this.
You make sure you be on mute, because it sounds like you be in front of a jet engine. I'm like, this field gonna fly off in a minute.
I got that fan right behind me, so it blows up on me from the back.
Just put it on low, man.
No, it's one of those big industrial.
Oh, one of them big. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you fancy? You got one of them type of fans. Okay. All right. Listen, we appreciate you guys, and as you can see, we have a guest with us on this day.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Somebody that you should get to know if you don't know him. He is your favorite internet pastor of the Greater Works Church Ministries, Mr. Stephen Gibson, Pastor Stephen Gibson. Give him his props. I don't know what I'm talking about. Pastor Stephen Gibson is joining us on today. How you doing today, Pastor?
Man, I'm just excited to be with the Man Up crew again.
Oh, Lord.
Good grief. I was wondering earlier. I said, I know y'all let fellows like me on the show.
No.
I didn't have to give no check. I didn't have to give no money. No. Man, look, and y'all brought me on.
Just brought you on. Look, we don't run like that. Now, if you got a check, I'm just saying.
Come on, Mike. We almost got in trouble last time about
But listen, we appreciate you coming on.
Sir. Yes, thank you so much.
And hanging out with us on today. Listen, I want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. If you're out there, if you're watching, I just want to say, hey, I see Mitzi and Jasmine is out there. And whoever else is in the chat, listen, I appreciate you. We love y'all. And we thank you all for hanging out, whether it's now watching us live or if you come back and watch it at a later time. We appreciate it. We would also appreciate it if you would follow us on social media, because that's a good thing. Yes. Follow us. Go to our Facebook page and friend us and like us and follow us on Twitter. And I don't know, man. I think I'm going to get off of TikTok. TikTok is so toxic, but we'll talk about that later. Jesus Christ. It's just it's a horrible place. It's horrible.
You get tired of it now, Mike? Now you get tired of it?
It's just because I'm on it now and I'm trying to kind of really navigate it and see what's what. I'm really seeing that it's, most like most social media, it can be very entertaining, but then on the flip side of that coin, it can be a really, really dark place. And so, I don't know. I'm debating right now, but if you're on TikTok, man, hey, just follow us. We are there and on various other social media platforms. As you can see, Mr. Philip Hines, he got on a very stylish t-shirt. I was noticing there, sir. They didn't even have your face on it. How did you get that to happen?
Oh, wow.
My goodness. I mean, that's fancy. But you can get a fancy shirt like that and others that are
not this shirt though.
Is that an exclusive? Is that exclusive?
No, but my nephew and my brother is trying to get this shirt. They went to our store and they said it's in the store, so I kind of think that it's gonna be a couple people in my family walking around with this shirt.
Hey man, let them get it. It's all right. I thought I would never put my face on the shirt, but I even got one. I'm just saying, it's out there. And if you want to get one and support the podcast, you absolutely can.
Yes.
Just hit up our digital store at manuprealtalk.store. That's right. We keep it simple,
and please
so you can
go like and subscribe our YouTube channel. We got
Manup. Go to YouTube.
We got Manup Sports coming on YouTube later on this month.
We're trying to get it together, y'all. We're trying to get it together. So if you want to be a part, definitely hang out with us on YouTube. I see my nephew in the building, J Dub. What's up, man? I see you. Appreciate you hanging out. Listen, real quick, I just want to send a special prayer of condolence and comfort to one of our members, Miss Sister Scarlett Mitchum. She is she's her mother passed, and they are having a service for her on this evening, and we just want to make sure that we let her and her family know that we appreciate them and we support them and we love them, and we just pray that God give them comfort and strength in their time of bereavement. Look, it ain't easy losing a loved one.
Yes.
And you talking about losing mama, that's a whole different thing. So we just pray her strength.
I don't know what I would do, man, if I lost my mother right now.
Yeah, man, we just pray her strength and pray that the Lord just keep her and her family covered.
Yes.
I think that's pretty much it for the preliminary stuff. Listen, this is the first of, I'm hoping, many episodes. We are collaborating with Pastor Gibson, and we are doing what's called our Real Men series. And it's because we just believe in us as Black men, and we want to do what we can to lift each other up. Because we know that as the world look at us, we are really pretty much, you would think, we're very little or next to nothing. Let them tell it. And it just seems like at every turn, we're just, we got so much going against us that, we have to keep that. I really believe in that mantra, am I my brother's keeper?
Yes.
Although when it was asked, it was given in a way to be smart to say, I don't know where he is. But in actuality, when that question is asked, you should be able to say, yes, I am, because we need to be responsible for each other. And the reason why, because the way the world is set up, they really could care less about us. And if we don't support and care about each other where we can help and pull each other up, then, man, who else gonna do it?
Nope.
And so that's what we're trying to do. And this series, I believe, is going to help us in a lot of areas. Now, for those of you all that's been following us for a while, we've done a series on our audio podcast. And I think we did a live one too. And we were talking about why men, I don't like using hate anymore because that's such a strong word, because it's not that they hate going, but we talked about why men don't like going to church. And there were several things that we talked about and several reasons that we talked about. And I made a decision to say that I was not going to do another one of those shows unless we talked about solutions.
Yep.
And in terms of, okay, we know this is an issue. How can we counter that issue? Or what can we do to bring men into the church? Instead of just saying, this is why they don't go, this is why they don't go. I noticed that we sometimes have a problem where we always talk about the things that's wrong, but never really talk about how we can correct those things. And I've always learned that, if you just always talking about the problem, you ain't part of the solution.
Exactly.
That's
So
right.
we got with Pastor Steve on this because we want to bring in as a pastor,
yes,
he would have a little bit more insight on this, and but it's funny because he actually has a slide that he created, and we're going to share that with you guys. We're going to talk about some of the reasons and take as many as we can in the time frame that we have, and we may not be able to hit all of them today. But we want to talk about as many as we can because I think it's important. And Pastor, I don't know if you agree, and I'm sure you may agree with this. I believe that the male presence in church is not only important, but it's vital.
Yes, sir.
It's absolutely vital, just as the male presence is vital in the home. It's vital in the community because God assigned us to be the heads, not necessarily saying that we're in control.
Right.
Or that we are, or that we are over, but the head as in to be the lead, as in to be seen, as in to be those individuals to spearhead safety and protection, and among other things within our families and our communities, and even in the church. I believe that the male presence is vital. But in order for us to get that, we have to understand why the man is not in church. And here's a shock. It's not because we just want to sit home and watch sports.
No,
it's not. It's not because we just don't want to go. I know it's look. there are legitimate reasons why men don't go to church.
It really
And
is.
we want to try to address some of those today. So we're just going to dive right into it. Listen, you all feel free to chime in if there's some things that maybe we missed or maybe you've experienced something else. Please feel free to chime in. Like I said, we're going to try to tackle as many as we can. I want to bring this up here. See if we can bring up the bam. Oh, that looked real professional when I did that.
It's a professional show.
It's fancy. Look at that.
It's a real deal here.
Yeah, it's the real deal. So through our communications with other people and just things that we've read, Pastor Steve came up with 12 common reasons. And these are not to say that these are the only reasons, but they are the most common reasons when you speak with men in regards to why they don't go to church. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to let Pastor Steve talk on some of the reasons. And actually, we're just going to go through them. And then I'll have him to kind of hit on them and give his take on to why, why he think that is and what we can do to kind of counteract that. So let's take the first one. And I think this is one of the biggest ones that me and Phil came across too, Pastor Steve, is that church is for women, right? And when you look at the composition of church, most churches, and I think this is a safe number, it's probably 80% women?
Yep.
About 80% women. And then you get maybe 10 to 15% kids, depending on the church. And then the rest of it that is men.
Yep.
The reason why is because when you look at church, that's what church cater to. Look at most of the programs in church. It caters to what? Women, the elderly, and children. Mm-hmm. It's very few programs that actually, not a lot of churches don't have a lot of programs that cater to men. Now, am I speaking correctly on that, Pastor Steve, or do you see that a different way?
No, that's exactly how it is, and which is so odd because when I think about how Jesus started his church, it's funny how he started his church with 12 men. And then always we get to this point and now it's more women in church than the men. So we're trying to figure out what happened between that. And you mentioned earlier about how it being very vital for men to be in church. I think that's what Jesus was trying to establish when he went out and found these men to go ahead and start this church. Not to be in control, as you mentioned, but to be the head and lead the way, because he wanted to show men as being the leaders that God had put them in place. So absolutely, right now, you look at churches right now and that 5%, and that might be high.
Right. Right. It might be.
It might be a little high. Depending on where you at, maybe some giant churches that goes a little higher, but you will still see that the lion's share of the people are going to be the women and children. Maybe that's why they got the saying. They say women and children first. I don't know.
But it's very odd though, and I know we thought that too, because it's like when you look at how, like you said, how the church was started. Jesus started the church with men. Mm-hmm. They played a key role in the start of church, and somewhere along the line, men lost interest.
Yep.
And I don't believe, as a matter of fact, I can assure you that it's not because they lost interest in God, but it's something about the church, the way it's the way that it's built or the way that it's operated, that kind of, put me in awe. And it was another interesting thing that you put, another interesting thing that was on here. And I'm just hitting them. I'm not going in any particular order. As they kind of as they kind of stood out to me, like you had purpose needs to purpose. Like, so we need to feel a sense of accomplishment. And then you put what's the score, which I thought was funny. I want you to kind of expound on that a little bit. You may have actually had it in the second tab, but when you say purpose and we need to feel a sense of accomplishment, explain exactly because I think this is important too.
Okay, absolutely. The thing about men is when we do something, we want to feel like we accomplished something. Mm-hmm. We want to feel like that when we come to something and we start it and there's a finish. And if we don't feel that, then we kind of feel like, well, what was the purpose of me being here? You know, and I put the tag at the end, what's the score? Because that's how we are. We're always trying to figure out what's the score right now. Right. Who's winning? How close are we to the goal? How close are we to the finish line? We're always looking for those results. And I gotta say, sometimes when a man comes to church and he may sit there for an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever that service time is, if he walks away not feeling like he accomplished anything, then he begins to feel like, well, what was the purpose of me being here today? Yeah, I probably could have used this time doing something else that I needed to get done. And I put it aside to come here today because we're driven by needing to accomplish something. Now, we understand, those of us that go to church, that we absolutely do accomplish things by coming to church. But when you talk about tangible versus intangible, it's more intangible that men accomplish than it's things that they can feel in their hand. You know, they pick up a hammer and start hammering a nail, they're not going to stop until that thing is built. Right. Then they sit back and they say, wow, look, and I'm going to throw you a curveball right here because we're going to keep it in the Bible too.
Let's go.
When God got through making this world, when he took those days and he made everything, he finished with a statement. He said, and he looked at it and he said it was good.
It was good.
Because he had accomplished his purpose.
Yes, sir.
He was able to sit back and say, yeah, and even
yeah.
Felt pretty good about that. Look what I did. I like how I did it, and I feel good about it. And that's really, so that actually didn't come from us. That came from him.
Wow.
Because we're in his likeness and his image.
That's right.
So then when we come somewhere and we're part of something, we want to know that when we left, that we can sit back and say, wow, that was good right there. We got it done.
Yeah.
And you know, spiritually, you can say that because Peter, the apostle, said, it was glad for us to be here, brother, and it's good for us to be here. But in the tangible sense, men don't want to sit inside of a building and walk out and don't feel like they accomplished anything, because we're so time conscious, number one, especially in this day we live in. Oh my God, I'm learning as a new pastor that,
man,
if you don't hit it fast,
you lose them.
They gone, they on to the next thing.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And look, but that's how men are. When they come in, they want to know, what am I going to get when I come here? And then once I know what I'm getting, then I can show you what I can contribute.
Right.
And I think that's one of the main things. So when we talk about what's the score, all throughout a game, we sitting there, hey, checking the score, ain't we?
Yeah.
And you step away, hey, what's the score right now?
Yep.
Because we want to keep abreast. We want to know what the results are all the time. And unfortunately in church, there's no real tangible way of keeping score or asking what's the score. I mean, you can't stop the pastor in the middle of his message.
Right. Be like, excuse me, what verse you on?
Right.
Like, no, that don't work. But
you
know what I also noticed though, is that one of the things that we also talked about too, is that when you especially when you talk about things as tangible, right? And how we need to feel like we've accomplished something. There's not a lot of things in the church for men, if you think about it.
Yep.
Right. Like because if you're not a minister, or if you're not serving on a ministerial board, right? If you're not a deacon, if you don't have any particular set of skills, it ain't much else for you to do.
Not much else
besides maybe being an usher. You know what I mean? So it's like, what is there for a man to do in church for him to feel like he accomplished something? Because unless you are maybe like in this day and age, you're a graphic artist, a videographer, or something like that. If you have some sort of technical skill, you may be of some use. Carpenter, maybe. If you have like an actual skill set
instruments, and you know if you're a musician.
Yeah, if you're a musician all day.
A place for you in the pit.
If you can sing, absolutely. Or maybe you could be, maybe you're one of those persons who are, who maybe you're an eloquent speaker and they have you to do the announcements and things like that. But on an average, there isn't a lot of things that men can do that can say, "Woo, I went to church today, man, and I did this, and this."
Yep.
So that's a standout thing. You also had some things on here. Another big one is the church is hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, my wife tells me all the time, if you want to work, if you want to make this thing work, you got to talk about it, and because stuff ain't gonna blow over, and you have to make sure that if it's a problem, you have to admit it and you have to talk about it. One of the things I think the church don't talk about or don't admit is that it tends to be hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
And men, we can't stand it. I know me personally, I'd be like, look, man, I can't. When I see some hypocritical stuff fly off, I'd be like, all right, I'm straight. Yeah. And you just don't want to be part of it. You know what I mean? So it's like that. That's a big. I think that's a big deal to a lot of men.
And the fact that you brought that out will connect to this piece right here. Since the men aren't very busy in church,
mm-hmm.
then they're not distracted.
They can, man, come on.
Things they see may not perhaps be on the level.
Yes, sir.
Women tend to be more involved into it, so they may not see as much as we see. But the men are sitting there in observation mode.
Right.
All the time. All the time
you watching.
I
don't know if that's a force of habit, but it's like you're always looking at people like, yeah, something about you.
I think that's just us as men. We're always observing everything around us at all time.
Yeah. And if you just observing everything, you will pick up on everything.
Yes,
and
sir.
Not saying that that's always necessarily good, but the problem is you're not giving me anything else to do with my time, with my eyes, with my mind.
Exactly.
You don't have me involved in anything. I'm just literally sitting here. And since I'm not this emotional being that automatically registers when I come into the church, like women are able to do, I'm looking for something else to connect to. And if I don't have anything else to connect to, then I'm just going to start finding out something on my own. Well, look at that. Well, my goodness, look at that carpet. Now they look at that wall up there. They got cracks up there. They know they need to fix that.
He telling the truth though. They
start shaking the pew a little bit.
It's like, man, that's kind of.
They starting to see. Look, I have a skill set that I can, if they want it, if they ask me, if they only knew, I can fix that for them.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
No. You go ahead and finish that because that's a really good segue. I can fix
that for them because I got a unique set of skills that they may need, but no one's asked me. Nobody's engaged me. I'm basically told to sit here and be still and listen until it's over with, and then go home. Meanwhile, I'm observing things, and I have not been made to necessarily feel welcome to come up and solicit that skill.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I'm saying. When they're in observation mode,
yes, sir.
That hypocritical part, because we understand there is not a church that exists on this earth, that there's not some level of hypocrisy there.
Come on.
But the idea is not necessarily to defend the hypocrisy, but more to show them what they should be focusing on.
Right. Now, that's a really good segue into the next one I was going to talk about, because you were saying how men, we tend to, and some people like, you're just being over analytical. It's like, no, I don't think I'm being over analytical. But we see, like you said, the cracks in the wall and the leaky ceilings and the pew that may not be moving too tight. And those with a skill is thinking, hey, I can fix this. But other people are looking like, they didn't just took up 5 offerings, and why this church still looking like this?
Boom. That's
so
good.
Now you have that man that's looking like, why are they taking up so many offerings? Why the church need so much money? And so as a man,
And where the money is going, Mike.
And where is the money going? Because
Yep.
as a man, you're looking at the facility and you thinking like, okay. And I mean, let's look. We're just being honest.
Yep.
You in this church and it's just like, man, this little rinky-dink church. But then you look at the pastor and him and his wife is in BMWs. Now, let me be fair. I don't know what that pastor is doing because he may be working. He may have worked his life and he may have bought that car. He may not have used any of the money in church. I'm not saying that every pastor uses the church money. Let's make that point. However, there are some instances where there have been some leaders, whereas their churches have gone to shambles. But they sharp as a tack, as the old folk used to say.
Mm-hmm.
They car is sharp, their wife is sharp, their kids is sharp. They got every new pair of Jordans that come out. And you taking up 4, 5, 6 offerings, you guilting the people into giving. I mean, you guilting them into giving. Not saying if you can't. No. God been too good to you for you to be giving $5. Well, if that's all I got, what you want me to give?
Right, exactly.
You guilting the folks into giving. And then you wonder why some of us is like, I ain't going back.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder why we're like, I ain't doing it. I can't do it because something ain't right. So you have a lot of instances where and like you said, because we are not in the beginning, we are not as emotionally attached or involved as women tend to be when they go, because women are emotional creatures, as you indicated. And so a lot of times we will just kind of sit back and be like, okay. It's just like we just kind of peeping things out, and those are things that those are things that we kind of notice. Another thing is that some have services are too long and inflexible. You talked about that earlier when you were just saying you learning this now. Just like if you don't get right to it. Yep. People are on to the next one. We live in that day and age.
Yep.
Microwave age now.
We live in that day and age.
Give it to us quick. I got all day.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna say this. I'd be proud when we have anywhere between 7 to 10 consistent viewers. Because most people don't hang around that long.
No,
right.
They watch for like 5 minutes, if that long, maybe 2 minutes, and then they dip on to something else. If we have consistently anywhere between like 7 to 10 viewers, I'm like, wow, we must be really talking about something interesting because they stuck around for the whole show. Yeah. And but I also understand that people go back and watch too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, because we've had a lot of videos that, although they didn't get many views that night, later on, this is like, man, where did all these views come from? Because people are going back to watch it, right? So, but the attention span, our attention span in this day and age isn't there. And I'm talking about young people, old people. So I don't understand, why is it that you need to have 2 hour, 3 hour services? It don't take God that long to do nothing.
That's true.
If he created the world and everything in it in 7 days, why the service got to take 3 hours? I don't understand.
That's why I love my church. That's why I love my church, because we in and we out.
Yeah.
Get the word and we out of there.
And in and out, not to the level where you feel processed.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
When I come there, I want it to be if it's going to be 30 minutes or 44, whatever, I want it to be meaningful too.
Exactly.
I don't want to feel like cattle. You herded me in and you herded me out, because the next group of people, and the second service is coming in, then you got to herd them out because the third service is coming in.
Right.
But if I can get a meaningful 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour, whatever it takes, then I'm fine with that. And I agree. We don't need 2 and 3 hours. I don't understand how some funerals, I've attended funerals services that were all day.
Yes.
Started at 2 o'clock, and I wasn't leaving till 3 o'clock. And I'm like, what? Why is it that this took my entire Saturday to bury the person? So, but see, that's because we in some churches have been programmed that's what we're supposed to have, because I want people to feel like they can have a part. I want to make sure so and so, Huckable, he want to have something to say, and Mama got to have something to say, and everybody gonna get their feelings hurt if they don't have something to say.
Yeah.
So we cater to that more than the masses that are attending, because in every funeral, that pastor is hoping that if there's somebody that's not a member of that family or a member of a church, might feel like that church is a place they may want to return to and become a member of. So when we have these services, I don't want them to be so quick either, but because the Bible tells us don't quench the spirit either.
Right.
Now, but I say when we let the Holy Ghost have his way,
exactly.
He's a gentleman, he's smart, he's wise, he knows when to cut off himself.
Yeah.
They used to tell us a long time ago, look, they said, when the spirits sit down, you
sit down. Or what else they used to say? Look, don't make the people happy twice. They happy when you get up and then happy when you sit down.
Yeah. And then you got those men that's sitting there like, tapping a watch.
Like,
what is going on here, especially if they're not engaged.
Yeah.
And
don't let it be football season either.
Don't let it be anything.
Anything. Just look, this is my off day. I work 6 days this week, and this is my only off day. Now let's make it clear that we're to give the Lord his time. We're supposed to set that time aside, to honor him, to worship him, because he blessed us with that job. He blessed us to have those past 6 days, but even he is not expecting you to spend that whole day completely under the roof of the church either. Give him what he's due. Give him what's rightfully due him. And when you come, give him your full self, your full worship. That means that our mind is supposed to be there too. We're supposed to be present in the moment too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then when you do that, I know personally, I feel a sense of, what? I felt like I came to do what God wanted me to do today. I felt like that I didn't forsake the assembly of myself today. I felt like that I received something, and I feel like he's pleased that I put him first over the things that I wanted to do. And it didn't have to take all day to do it.
It don't have to
that was kind of that intangible I was talking about, a men feeling like a purpose or that they've accomplished something. I like to leave service feeling like, wow, you know what? I got something, and God, I believe I pleased you today because I came and I worship and I praise you today. So if we can watch our service times, I definitely agree with you, Michael Phil. That's not only pushing men away, that pushes the youth away.
Man, that's a whole
that's
other
show. That's a whole different show.
Whole different show right there.
Yeah.
Man Up Real Talk with Mike and Phil. We're talking about why men don't go and why they should go to church. We're here to offer some solutions. Our special guest is Pastor Steve Gibson of Greater Works Church Ministries. Shout out to all of those that's watching us on today. I see some other people join. Brother Kevin Edwards, God bless you, Kev.
Kev, what's up, man?
Our friend and follower of one of the friends of our and frequent guest on the podcast, Mr. Eddie K. Phillips, as I see him in the building.
Brother Eddie, what's up, bro?
Pastor Denard is also in here. We appreciate you joining us, sir. Listen, let's get into this one because I think this is also one that a lot of people don't like to talk about. But church is emotional. This is another one of the common issues. Church is kind of emotional, and it makes men feel kind of weak and passive.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why this is an issue: because men are who they are, and then here's the thing. You think about, and this is one of the issues that I had at first too, right? Because when you get into church, I'm not one of them people that's gonna hold your hand and look you in your eye and say, "Listen, God got something for you. God gonna bless your heart, and it's just like, hug your neighbor, shake their hand, and rub their back, and tell them it's gonna be all right.
Mike,
and I'm just like,
hold on, Mike. You keep carrying away, man. Hold on, man.
you know what I'm saying. They'd be like, come on.
I get it.
Look, and then if you standing next to a guy, he's talking about some hold your neighbor's hand and look them in the eye. I'm like, no.
Listen, I'm
not doing it.
Yeah, now.
I was like, I'm not doing it, because it just makes you and look, it just makes you feel a certain way. And then you got to also understand that like when you hear stories from the Bible, it's like when you hear stories about like Samson and how strong he was. He carried gates, and and all the men that he beat down were just a jawbone of an ass, and all of these different things. Mm-hmm. And it's just like Samson is like, And even when they talk about Jesus, he's from the tribe of Judah, the Lion of Judah. Yeah. And it's just like, yes, I want to meet Jesus. And then when they talk about it, it's like, yeah, he wore sandals and he prayed for the sick. And it's just like, all right, where's the cool stuff? It's like, where's that stuff at? Where are these stories at? Even when you just hear other things like Moses and the plagues and all these things, it's just like, they're just stories that we would gravitate to. Yep. But then it's just like, when you're there, it's that experience isn't the same.
Right.
It's just not the same, because, as we said earlier, sometimes the services are catered more towards women and the elderly to make them feel safe and to make them feel secure. How do you make a woman feel safe? You hold her, you hug her. It's going to be okay. Yeah. You hold her hand, you look in the eyes and tell her all these things. Men don't need that.
No, right. Not at all.
Look, man, hey, you're going to be all right. We good. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, that's the issue with some men. It's just like, man, it just makes me feel a little fruity.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to come there to cry in front of everybody.
Exactly.
Particularly whatever that 5% of males that's in there. I don't want to come and cry in front of other men.
Especially men I don't know.
See, the thing is, there's a vulnerableness that the Spirit can give men.
Exactly.
That when that happens, then they're no longer thinking about that anymore. But they don't always come in ready for that yet.
Right.
And so when everything is in the service is designed to pull emotion out of you, that's where the men will start looking around like, okay, what are you all expecting to see me do right now? Because church for women, I like to say, is almost therapeutic.
It is.
Because it's going to soothe the mind. It's going to bring peace. It's going to, and all of those things are good. But again, that man that may not perhaps need that at that moment, or he might need something that's a little bit more hardcore. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't get that, then again, he walks out feeling like he didn't get anything out of the service today.
Right.
I'm going to bring something out to you. Tell me if I'm wrong. The men that you do see in the church that are working, they're usually the ones that seem to be a little bit more satisfied, a little bit more happy about being there. And a lot of times you find that deacons typically are the men's in the church that are doing a lot of the work. Yeah. And they're the ones that when you say, well, so-and-so, got brother so-and-so, he got here early this morning, shoveled the snow, cut the grass, made sure the salt was out there so the salt slip when they come into the sanctuary, made sure the garbage was taken out. Those are the ones that come in, they like all over the place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they like, man, I get to do something. I have value. They're showing that they see my value, and not just value that you're a custodial job, but exactly, they're more than janitors. But the thing is, they come there because they have something that I can give them, and they see that value, and that's why most of them are the ones that stick around more so than what we call the laymen, right? So then while they're doing that, they don't need the emotional part. but because they're getting that satisfaction of working in the church, and to them that is ministry.
Exactly.
If,
Man,
if,
you saying a lot right now, Pastor. You are saying a lot right now.
Now
if we are reading the same Bible, if we read the same Bible, I believe when they chose the deacons, the men of God, the preachers, they said, listen, fellas, we can't be doing all of this, putting these tables up, taking them down. And look, we need to get ourselves some brothers that can tend to these things so we can tend to the ministering of the church.
To the matters of the church.
Absolutely. The matters of the church. And so they said, let's let's pray and let's get together 7 brothers who are of good report. And here, these were men that were already probably doing something, because you notice Jesus never called men that was doing nothing.
This is true.
He didn't call lazy folk. No. But he went and found men that were already working. And so now when these men come into the church, deacons are there. They're there the longest. They have the longest tenures because they know every Sunday when I come to that church, and not just Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Tuesdays, Fridays, whatever they come.
Next year, almost every day.
There.
Believe me, almost every day.
Good. Exactly. So that's where I keep saying that sense of purpose. And then while we get them there, then we say, all right, now while we got you here, we're going to pour something in you too.
Right.
So you're not just coming here like you clicking a time clock and then you're going home. But now we're going to pour something in you too. But when you fishing, you got to use the right bait.
Got to use, come on.
And if you got a brother that wants to work in the church, that's your bait right there. Give him something to do.
You got to find him something to do.
Yeah, I mean, at least, he ain't saved all that right away.
Right.
But give him something to do. And then as he's doing it, then that's when you get right there. That's how Jesus did it. Listen, his disciples wasn't all that saved when he called them.
No, sir.
But he dealt with them where they were with what they were doing, and he taught them as he went. And that's what I think churches have forgotten, that we have to teach these men as they go. Give them something to do. Make them feel valuable. Make them feel like they have worth. Because on their job making them feel like they got worth.
But you know what?
They get a paycheck every week too.
But you know what, Mike? Let me say something, because Pastor.
Go ahead and say something, Phil. You go ahead and say something.
I really think that's what really kept me in the church, because I came into the church working around the church, doing things for the church, working with the pastor outside the church, doing stuff. So I think that's what really kept me coming to church, because I got used to doing things with the pastor. Like when it was time, like if it was landscaping need to be done, and people laugh, like you say, the trash. I make sure the trash is out every Sunday and all that stuff. So I think that's what kept me in the church, because when I came into the church, working, doing things around the church. I'm the set up the table guy. You know what I'm saying? Set the chairs up guy. So I really think that that's a good point that you just made. That was a real good point you just made.
If we can keep doing that, and like we said, working with them spiritually at the same time, as those men were with Jesus working, he was slipping them nuggets.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was.
And that's what Pastor was doing to me.
He was putting that word in them.
Yes.
And a lot of times, some guys who hang around the pastor, they can get some of those nuggets that maybe the other guys that, as they follow far off, don't get. But we have to find a way to bring everybody, all the men in close. And one of the things that I've learned being over a men's ministry pretty much on and off for the last 20, 25 years is the closer you keep the men together, you're able to get a camaraderie with them.
Yes, sir.
And then somebody just put up discipleship, which is excellent, because that's when the men come together to learn. And discipleship, we're discipling one another. We're learning from one another. And we've got our leader right there who can make sure we understand it correctly. So, and one of the things that takes me, that we can go, Mike, that just kind of segued into what I wanted to call on mine. I think I got to call it garage talk.
Look, we call this barbershop talk.
Barbershop. And I'm going to tell you why I say garage groups.
Come on.
I don't know what everybody's neighborhood, but in my neighborhood, garages go up first thing in the morning, and they stay up all day long. And there are chairs in front of the garage.
Yes, sir.
There's refrigerators in the garage. There's big screens in the garage.
Come on.
I see these men assembling in the garage.
Yes, sir.
And having these, whatever they talking about.
Yeah.
See, men like to be outside.
That's right.
That's another key point that we have to start understanding. Putting men in the environment where they feel like they can thrive.
Yeah.
And we know we don't really have to be doing much. We just want to be outside.
And they got to be doing nothing. That's the great part about it.
Sitting around talking.
We just want.
So why not take that time and say, look, brothers, we gonna come together and we just gonna have some garage groups.
Yeah.
And if you get them like that, they'll listen to whatever you have to tell them.
Yeah.
Because they're in the setting they want to be in. They're in their environment that they're comfortable with. And this is familiar to them.
You know what? And that's I'm gonna tell you, Pastor. That was one of the main reasons why we wanted to do this podcast, right? We wanted to kind of, and actually it evolved into it eventually. We wanted to just create an environment where the men can come and hang out, and we can talk about stuff that's kind of pertinent to us.
Yeah.
And it's no judgment.
No,
right? It's no judgment, and I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to condemn you, because all of us have our flaws, all of us have our quirks or whatever. But all we want to do is come together and find some commonality with some other people and talk about it, and just say, hey man, you ain't the only one, or you know what, I know what you're talking about, or because let me tell you something. We had a guest on when we were talking about this on one of the episodes before. And he said that the hardest thing about him going to church is that he feels that he has to have the whole armor of God on to go to church.
Yeah.
To go to church.
Wow.
And he was like, I feel more comfortable when I go to a barbershop, because I know that when I'm there, the guys there are not judging me.
Right.
And they're not expecting anything of me but for me to be me.
Yep.
And he was like, but when I go to church, I feel like everybody has a different expectation of me, and there's constant judgment and it's constant condemnation. And he was just like, he said, when I go to church, I feel that I need to be protected when I go to church. And I thought that was, and I don't know why that struck me, because you would think that that's the one place that you would feel kind of safe. But he was just like, I feel safer at the barbershop than I do at church.
Put that second slide up real quick.
Yes, sir.
Because that's just what you're talking about right now. That second slide. And you see where we got garage group, where you got right below, no judgment in confidentiality zones.
Look, that is so important with men. Let me look, because look, here's the thing about men and women. I love y'all because y'all can dislike a person and still laugh and joke with them. And when they walk off, talk about them like a dog.
We not like that.
Men,
I'm not like that. I know I'm not like that.
I know me personally. If it's something if I don't mess with you like that, I don't mess with you like that.
Yeah. Right. If I'm not feeling you, I'm just not feeling you.
I ain't finna joke with you. I ain't finna laugh with you.
Not finna smile in your face and none of that.
No, sir. No, I can't do it. So confidentiality is important to a man, because I have to feel like I can trust you.
Absolutely.
And if I can't trust you, I don't want to be around you.
Exactly.
Right. I cannot stand a man who talks more than a woman.
Yep.
A gossiping man.
I can't deal with chatty patty dude.
I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I just can't do it. I steer clear. And like a lot of people think I'm a little bit I'm a little bit antisocial. And I have learned that I am a bit of an introvert with extroverted tendencies. I am. And I had to accept that, because
finally accepted it, Mike.
We had a breakthrough on one of Steve. It was so funny.
We had a whole breakthrough, Pastor Steve.
We had a breakthrough on one of the shows.
The battle, right?
Yeah. we had a breakthrough on the show, and I was just like, man, I really thought I was an outgoing person, and now I realize that I'm an introvert, and I just have extroverted tendencies. Yeah. Here's the thing: you put me in a social environment, I can kill it. I can schmooze with the best of them. But you got to get me in the environment first, because if you give me an option, I probably ain't going.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? But it's because it's hard for me. It's hard for me to trust. It's hard for me to trust people.
Yes.
Like other guys, it's hard for me to trust other guys and it's because I guess in my own, when you were younger, you can tolerate people, and people do stuff. You're like, whatever. You go on and you make new friends. When you get to a certain age, that whole friend making thing, it don't work like that anymore.
And you know what, Mike and Phil, I'm gonna tell you this about the trust thing with men. We're not just gonna open up and tell you everything.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
And then number two, we are not sure that you can even handle what I'm getting ready to tell you. See, I might be doing some stuff. I might be into some stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
Now you talking about let's be emotional, let's share, let's let it out, let's talk about it. I need to know ahead of time,
right, that
you can even handle
yes, sir.
What I'm getting ready. And see that judgment thing. The thing about judgment is it's not always verbal.
Come on.
It's a non-verbal.
Come on.
Action.
He's speaking something right there.
A raised eyebrow. It's a dip corner of the mouth.
It's one of them
turn of the head. It's like,
right.
Did he just really say that?
Right.
And you have to be careful of that, because that's what, remember we talked about men observing?
Yes, sir.
That's the observation. Right? Now when I get ready to, even as I'm setting up to tell you, I'm observing how you getting ready to receive it.
Yeah.
We think that men could just come into church and just open up on the first day.
Oh man.
I don't know what these men gonna think about me. And look, furthermore, I don't know what these women gonna think about me.
Exactly.
Right.
But men, if you cannot have a confidentiality among men, that is a problem that has to be dealt with. And that's one of the things when we were doing the men's ministry, we used to have these retreats. And I know, Mike, we might have had some during the times when you were going there. But those men's retreats where we would take the men again out of the church setting, put them in another environment.
Yep.
Where they can kick it, hang, lounge. We can just let it go. No ties, no suits, no none of that stuff.
We said that before. No titles.
No titles. None of that. Real talk. But the thing we always had to stress ahead of time was
whatever was said there, stay there.
That's right. And if we find a leak, we gonna plug it.
You if you find a rat, you gotta flush it, man. Because if there is no trust among men, you have an issue.
Yeah.
There is a verifiable issue when you don't have trust among men. Because here's the thing. I have to be able to trust you to work with you.
Yep.
Because I can't work with you if I don't feel if I don't feel that I can trust you. It's like when you think of a team, right? You think of a team. You think of guys that go out there and it's like football, since football season's coming up. But you take football for instance, and you go out there and you have them guys that go out there. They gonna give they all. They hurt and they injured and everything, and they gonna go out there and they gonna play their hardest.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's because they know that the dude standing to the right and the left of them is gonna do the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? So it's like I don't mind going out there giving my all because I know this dude got me and I know this guy over here got me. If I'm in an environment where it's just like I don't know about you or I don't completely trust you, I kind of like you, but you did something dirty the last, you just got here and you know what I'm saying?
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
It ain't gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
I have to be able to trust another guy before I get to that point where I can open up and say, this is who I am.
Yep.
So that's a hard thing to do. And that's why when you talk about being emotional in church and showing feelings, or not showing feelings, but just being emotional. Yeah, that's kind of a not necessarily a sign of weakness, but I think that it's
vulnerable.
It's a vulnerability. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what that is. It's a vulnerability. So listen, we said that we was gonna offer solutions.
Let's get to solutions.
You know, so I know we hit on some of them, but this has never been. And I used to have people to hit me up and tell me, "Hey man, why are you doing this series?" Or you gotta,
they used to kill us, Pastor Steve. They used to kill us.
Man, they used to. I was crucified almost.
Yeah, because y'all were trailblazers.
It was just like, why are you talking about that? Why are you doing
folks
that?
They were disappointed us and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I literally had people that said, "Was like, I'm disappointed, Mike. I thought you was better than that." I'm like, what are you talking about?
And it's not bashing. It's just that these things has to be talked about because when you look around, we have to be honest. There's not a lot of unless it's a mega church. But we're talking about community churches. There's not a lot of men in those churches.
Not at all.
Even in the mega churches, it ain't that. I mean, it's just more men because of the numbers.
Yeah. That's right. It's still 5%.
Right. Yeah. It's still 5%.
It's a larger 5% because of the sheer number. But then also, too, and how many of those 5% are participating, too?
Exactly.
Come on.
So that's another thing. It's not about how many men you can get under the building. It's how many can you get participating, engaged, and wanting to be a part of the team and give that 100 you was talking about. Because you're gonna get to people, they're gonna come because their wife said you come. They gonna come because mama said, look, I married you. You said you was gonna come to church if we got married. All right, baby, I'm gonna come to church because your girl said she gonna leave me if I don't come to church.
Hey, can I be honest?
That's
how I ended up coming to church, to shut my wife and my daughter up.
But
they kept bugging me.
Look what happened.
Mike and Kelly had asked me. Well, his wife Kelly one day had told me.
I wasn't going to ask him. I was like, I ain't asking.
Asked me to come to church. I was like, oh, I don't do church.
Yeah,
I believe in God. I don't do church though.
He told me, he was like, I don't do church, Mike. I'm like,
I don't do church. But Jackie and Kennedy, they had started going to church. So they was bugging me like every Sunday to go with them. So I was going to say, okay, I'm going to go this one day to shut them up. But that's like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And look, thank God. And look, so here's what I believe happened was, because you mentioned it, you said when you did come in, you started working.
No, it was. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was something about that Pastor Razor that got me. He got me. He got me from day one, and then once I started working with him outside the church and talking to him, it was like, I kind of like him.
Yeah, I came to the church. I came to our church wasn't because they had a great choir, they had all of that, but Pastor Reed was the reason that.
That's how it was with Pastor Razor with me.
It was the same thing with me when I joined that church. You know why I joined? Because my two best friends was there. That's why I joined the church. And and it's so funny how it worked out because they invited me out for watch service. And that particular year, watch service was on Saturday. And, and then that Sunday, I actually joined.
Wow.
But again, it was because originally I joined because of my friends. But, the Pastor Reed, and then, of course, just getting a relationship with the Lord, you ended up staying. But yeah, man, I mean, it's so many variables, and people, I hate when people just put things in like this little just blanket statement, like, men don't want to go to church because they just don't like church, or they just want to, and it's a lot more than that. So let's talk about these solutions. I mean, look, we on here, so we on here now, so let's we on here. It's past now, but we're gonna go a little bit longer because
come on, let's go.
Yeah, we're good. So let's look at some of the solutions. Now, I like what you got here when you says first natural and then spiritual. The reason why that is important, people, for those that don't know, is because you can bring a person to church that may not know God, and you can talk Jesus and salvation and getting saved and the Holy Ghost all day long, and it ain't gonna mean nothing to them.
Right.
You gotta find a way where you can present something to them naturally, and then, as Pastor Steve said, feed them spiritual nuggets. Because it's just like when a baby first get here, you ain't giving them steak right off the bat.
Right.
Although Gabriel, He was knocking back 2 ounces before he left the hospital.
Man, leave my nephew alone.
Wow.
Leave my nephew alone.
Funny story, honest to God. But you know how they, and like when you first had a baby, they have these little 1 ounce bottles, right? And so Michael wasn't even drinking half a bottle. You know, I think when maybe within a week or so, he was drinking a full bottle. Gabriel
on the back, huh?
Off the bat was drinking. He drunk 1 bottle and was still hungry. And so Kelly gave him another bottle and he was cool. By the time we left the hospital, Gabe was knocking back 2 of those bottles. And the nurse gave us an extra bag and said, here, just in case.
Gabriel needed 1 in each hand.
He was like, yo, I ain't leaving until I get my fill. I was like, man. But that was off subject. It was just funny. But what I'm saying that to say that you have to give something. You have to give. We talked about tangible things. You have to give people something that they can relate to first, and then when you draw them in, you can give them the stuff that they need. When Jesus witnessed to the people, he wasn't talking all high-minded. He spoke to them on a level that they understood.
Mm-hmm.
He made the things relatable. When he talked to farmers, he spoke in farmer parables. You know, he approached the people, and it's not to say that he went into the air, like he ain't go to the strip club to talk to the prostitutes or nothing like that, but he understood people. And he understood that in order for me to talk to you or to reach you, I have to be relatable, number one, and I have to be able to make things that I have to be able to present it in a way that you understand. And once I got you, then I can give you what you need, right? Yeah, so when we're talking about men, when we're talking about solutions and getting men in the church, you have to approach it first naturally and then spiritually. Now, one of the things that he had on here, which I thought, we mentioned earlier, was garage groups. And you got topics men face, and what does the Bible say about it? So I want you to go ahead and kind of touch on that a little bit, Pastor.
All right. So we did this some years ago. Mm-hmm. You know, we in the past and we talked, and we wanted to know what is it that the men want to know. So I created a survey. You know, I think it was Survey Monkey that I was using at the time, and I created this survey, and I said, send it to the men. They could either fill it out, or they could do it anonymously or online, however way they do it. And I would take the answers back, mm-hmm. and then we would categorize them in ranking of what is it they wanted to know, what topic, what situation, what issue mattered most to them. And then we ranked those, and then we gave those to the pastor. And then we started having these small groups with just the men.
Nice.
And we would deal with, say, this is what you all care about the most. And it could have been marriage. It could have been money. It could have been even the guys that were single, because we didn't want to leave them out.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever that issue was, he would deal with that and then take that word and then apply it so they can say, now so we're not just giving you all opinion, but we're going to tell you what the word said, because we attached that spiritual piece to it. And then once everybody was good on that one, then we went to the next one. And we said, until we got through the list. And it took a while, but we started to see the engagement, and the men were coming out. They were opening up. They were sharing, and they felt safe. And we made them understand that you don't have to worry about any judgment here.
Wow.
And that was very, because they said, wait a minute, you're going to take time to find out what matters to me? Because pastors and preachers don't always know. We're going to give you, of course, what the Lord tells you. But if it's something that Phil needs specifically, look, Phil might be going through at home with his wife, and he's looking for somebody to talk to about it. He don't want to tell nobody about it, but he needs some help. He may not have to come out and say specifically it's me, but let me put this in that survey so they can talk about it. Mm-hmm. But at least we gave Phil
that's good
to get that out there, because men, we don't always want to stand up and say, hi, my name is Steve and I'm an alcoholic.
Right. I like that. I like that.
No, that's good stuff. I like that.
And so that's what we base those groups around. And we started having those each week. And then we parlayed those into those retreats where we took it off site. And that thing every year grew and grew. And to the point where if I didn't talk about it fast enough, they were asking, are we still doing it?
Wow.
Because now, and I believe, to me, when I look at those friends that I have at that church, I believe that we're so close right now because we had all of those times together like that where we were able to share. And then when people started opening up, man, breakthroughs started taking place. And that's when the pastor was able to get in there and start giving them all of that spiritual part. Then saying, well, now here's what you need. We're gonna get on the altar. We had prayers. Sometimes all the men don't want to come down to the altar in front of everybody. You know, you got some visitors afraid to stand up in front of everybody.
Yeah.
But we want them to stand up to acknowledge, and that's good and all that. But some of the men, they don't want to come down. So we had always had those men prayers where you come out and it's just us, just the men you're comfortable with, and we pray together. And that thing that you going through, we prayed together with them for it. And then the next guy said, well, look, I got this going on. And here's the other thing is, we men, we don't need details.
No, we don't.
We don't look.
We really don't.
Not at all.
I don't need the details.
Not at all.
What? Men, we put it like this. We the newspaper, we read highlights.
Yep.
You know, man shot at garage.
And that's it. That's it.
You know, we don't go down into what color the garage was, the neighborhood it was in, what he was doing at the garage.
That's
you
right.
Don't need all of that. If you come to the prayer, you come to the session saying, look, I got this going on. Need help here. That's what we're praying for right there.
Yeah.
And I love it that you're not asking me to probe. Okay, give me a little bit more.
Well, now when you say financial problems, what exactly do you mean? What?
Right,
Man,
exactly.
look,
So you say you going through.
Right.
What does going through really mean?
What are you going through, really? It's like,
what problem you and your wife having for real?
Is that why y'all come to church at different times? It's like, oh, here we go.
Now you grown. and I'm not coming back.
I mean, come on, man. It's crazy.
Like, you ask too many questions
You
now.
ask too many questions, man.
We don't need all of that.
We don't need
Exactly.
And that's why we always like, you good? We good. You know,
Right.
we speak in those languages like that. And sometimes we don't say nothing at all.
No,
we just have to look.
Just got
Yeah.
to look.
Just give
Like-
each other a look.
Like you straight man, be like,
Yeah.
all right,
And
cool.
that's what men feel. See, when men feel more manly that way,
Yep.
you know, because now you allow me to be a man now.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to break me down in front of the whole world because we want to show God's deliverance.
Right.
And now when God is ready to show his deliverance on that man, he knows exactly how to do it.
Yes, sir.
And when he does it, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And that man is not going to walk away feeling ashamed. He's not going to walk away feeling embarrassed. So that's why we will come together solution-wise and say, let's do all that together in the privacy of the environment of just us men.
Yeah.
Then when you get strong enough, you can go out there and decide to share if you want to share. So
Exactly.
that's one of the things that was immensely successful. And
So
when
having those groups, like doing the garage groups and like
Yep.
the survey, and then I see you also incorporate. You mentioned men's prayers, too, and that's just prayers with just the men.
just the men, no women allowed. And we would tell the men, look, they would tell me, can my wife? No, your wife can't be a part of this. Nuh-uh. Nope, can't get. This is just for us. We did the conference calls. We get on the men's prayer line. Go find you a place in your car, in your garage. Get on the call, and we're praying just us. Because look, when men pray, we can say stuff other men understand.
Yes, sir.
I can say that thing I'm going through because it's probably a bunch of other men going through the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, if I'm having financial troubles and you look, me and my wife, we ain't getting along because we can't pay the
Yep.
bills and the kids acting up. Look, I don't want to stand up in front of the church and say that.
No,
And
no,
then
no.
you ain't got your household together.
Right.
Yeah.
Your house ain't right. You know,
Yeah.
How you gonna work in the church and your house ain't right?
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
no,
but see, that's that judgment.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's like, but that's exactly what I mean by that judgment thing, right? It's like if you was to get up there and you used to say something like that instantly, people was like, oh yeah, they whatever, Mike and Kelly, they going through or this, that, and the other. And it's just like, It's like, or he did this, or because I know it wasn't her, or she did this because I know it wasn't him, and it's just like, why does that even matter?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Though.
You told me testimonies were good. You told me that we overcome. You told me testimonies helped get me through, but now I just testified.
Right.
And now y'all look at me like, well, you about shouldn't have said that one.
Right. You probably should have kept that one to yourself. It's like,
and understand me now, there are some things that
Lord.
Now let's put that disclaimer out there. I don't get up there talking about as Pastor.
I put that on the stream.
Just deliver me
that on the stream on the bottom.
Oh, right, you know, I just can't help myself when I see kids. Now we gotta use wisdom. But now if I'm testified, don't be trying to analyze my testimony to see
exactly
what I'm really trying to say.
That's
and
terrible.
Then say, like you just say, oh, that I know what that's all about. And then when you going out to the car, everybody looking at you funny. And then now, and the devil is crafty.
Yeah.
The devil gets right in there, and now he'll start telling that man, see, they think this about you. They think you ain't got your stuff together. They think you can't handle your business. They think your wife, you henpeck. They think she, you at home and you can't handle stuff. So now I ain't going back there because I don't want to feel that way no more.
Yeah.
But he getting the people too. Now every time you go down the aisle with the diapers, people thinking, I wonder what he's shopping for. It's like, what? It's like, come on, man. Yeah. It's terrible. That no judgment thing is so important. Now you actually had there was some other really good things on here, like men's ministry design with what men have in mind.
Yep.
What did you mean by that?
Because far too many churches do not have a men's ministry.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that is almost non-existent.
Preach.
And if it is existent, it's then just designed for what we can get them to do in the church too. So sometimes that can be taken too far too. Yeah. Don't take advantage of my skills either.
Right.
Show that you value them, but what else can we offer? If this is a men's ministry, just like I'll give you an example, youth day. When you've had youth day in the church, youth is designed for the youth to be in charge. It's designed for the youth to do stuff the youth want to do.
Right.
They should be planning that day. So when we have a men's ministry, it's designed for what a man wants. So it may not look like what the other ministries look like, because we don't need some of the stuff the other people in the church need. So when we put together men's ministry, we say, what is it that you want to do? That's how it has to first start. Not let me tell you what I think you want to do. Something that's interesting. Asking questions.
Wow.
Hey, Phil, what do you like to do, man? And me being over that and different other ones too, like Minister Jason Park, he was over for a while. We went through those things and we had to ask questions. Hey, sit down. We would grab men one-on-one. We didn't bust them out in front of their wife. What you want in a men's ministry?
Right.
No, we would grab them one-on-one. What is it if we had a men's ministry? What would it look like to you? What would you like? What would make you want to attend?
That's an interesting question, though.
It really is, though.
Because, if I'm sitting up here, while you're talking, I'm like,
what
would I want in a men's ministry?
That's when Sony brought it up. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, what because I want?
And here's why that's important is because we can sit up there and say, oh man, church ain't for men, but then at the same talking, it's like, well, what would you want different? It's like,
that's a great question, Pastor.
I don't know.
It really is. That's a great question.
If you ever had anybody hire an interior designer, you want your kitchen redone, right? But they're gonna ask you. They're gonna say, "Okay, what does it look like to you? What are you thinking about? What is your vision?" And then I'm gonna take what you have and bring it to light. I'll add what I have, but I need to start with a foundation. And that foundation has to be what you want in it. And if your answer is, well, I don't know, just want to be in ministry, I can't do much with that.
No, it can't be
because then if I go off of what I think you want, it may not match what you want, and then you won't show up. So before I get started, I want to know, what does that look like to you? Because then now we're going to customize a plan of a ministry around what you all say. And we went to all of these men, and that was a practice where we never stopped doing that. That's why we kept advancing and improving because more new men came to the church. We had to find out what they liked because the new men may not have liked what the old men that were there liked. And we had to incorporate everybody. So we would keep asking them that question. And then that's when we would take that, put that into it. Take that idea, put it into it. We had an idea bank, for lack of a better word, because we always wanted to have some guy says, I think a men's ministry is one where I can come and then we can just, few of us like to golf. Some of us just like to fish. You know, I want a time where we had the Super Bowl. We did the Super Bowl thing.
Yeah, we used to we do that at the church. We have a Super Bowl party.
You know, I want time where me and I can be with the guys and we can just talk. They can make me feel like they care about me. And listen, it's the same concept gangs have with our youth. I'm going to make you feel like you loved. We had these men say, I want to be in a ministry where I feel like I'm loved. I feel like I'm understood. I feel like that what I'm going through is I'm not the only one. Do you have something like that I can come to? That we have that balance of natural and spiritual? And then here's the other thing. Sometimes if they got in trouble, they needed to know that, look, if it's the one brother that was going through financially, I had that men's ministry that said, you know what, we're going to pool our resources together to help that brother out. Yeah, man. Because I'm going to tell you, sometimes just saying pray and fast ain't going to be enough. I mean, you know, the Bible even talks about that. You know, you telling the brother he say he's hungry,
right?
And then you
said, "Well, God bless you, be full."
Lord, I hope you be full. You go home. Sometimes that ain't enough. No, we have to put some action behind that, and that's one of the things we try to do. That was very important to the pastor, to the men's ministry, was to make it where it was functional. That if they felt valued, they felt a part of it, so that when it did come time to, and I'm gonna jump over to an offering. When it did come down to a fundraiser or a need, those men said, look, I don't have a problem giving that, because before you didn't hit me with what you needed from me, but you hit me with what you can do for me first. Man. And that's why I say, if you want to know with men's ministry, I needed to know. So I just asked questions. It seems simple, but that's all it was. Ask some questions and then implement. Don't look. And here's the way you turn men off too. You get their feedback and you do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You have just committed suicide right there.
You have just officially just made me just look,
man.
And I understand. I understand that every idea isn't great, right?
Absolutely.
I get that. But every now it seems like but there are instances where it seems like some people ideas are always implemented.
Yeah.
And you have sometimes where it just seems like nothing that you suggest is ever good enough. And it's like, well, why even bother asking?
Exactly. Yep.
You know, because
I don't have the right name, or you gotta be this. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you know what? I've come to, and I used to think, I still think like this a little bit. I just feel that if you don't fit a certain image, sometimes you get overlooked. Because there's a lot of people with some great ideas that probably could work, but they get overlooked because they don't fit that image of what a church man look like.
Here's the cool thing about that, though. You know, one thing about ministry is that it don't always have to take place inside the four walls.
Yeah.
You know,
you telling me?
Look, and so, you know, taking that attitude, it's like, really, it's like what is ministry really?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, if and not to say that this is the case, but it's just like if we said, hey, we want to start a mentoring program, and you said, nah, I don't think that's the move. Okay. That don't mean I can't do it. It just means I can't do it inside the church.
No, but I always say, with me, like I talk to a lot of young guys, and I really don't look at it as being mentoring. I just talk to them. That's just always been me. But
mentoring comes in different forms.
Yeah,
though.
so you know what I'm saying. But Mike, I really don't pay attention to it. I'm actually mentoring them.
Right.
Because I'm just talking to them. I like to drop jewels to the young guys because I've been through a lot. So if I can tell them something that's going to help them along the way, I like talking to young men. I like telling them.
You know another word for mentor is time.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yes, sir.
Is you are giving your time. And time is one of the most precious commodities to men, because we always feel like we don't have enough of it, especially have a busy work schedule. But when you can take time to listen to that young person, time to talk to them, time to take them somewhere, time to impart what you have into them, that's all they were looking for from the beginning.
And they appreciate it though. A lot of people don't realize. A lot of these young guys appreciate you just talking to them. I mean, and a lot of them tell me like, a lot of guys old school, a lot of guys your age, man, they look down on us, or they quick to say you should be doing this or you should be doing it, and look at me. And it's like, and at least you take time out to actually talk to us. You know what I'm saying? You're not badgering us. You're not trying to act like you my daddy, or you just just talking to him. I mean, but that has always been me, because I have a son. Well, my son's 29 now, so it started from talking to him and his friends. So now it's like, little young guys, I'm going to the store or something. They know me. What's up, old school? What's up, Big Field, whatever. I talk to them. You know what I'm saying? What y'all doing, man? Y'all need to be over here, man. Let me tell you something. You doing this or doing that, it's not going to turn out that way, man. Y'all need to go on and, that's just always been me, to try to direct these young boys, a different path, because I have been through a lot of stuff. So I have seen the turn, what happens in the end of what a lot of these young guys doing. Yeah. So if I can help them by telling them, no, you don't need to be doing that, man, because I'm telling you, you don't look like the type that can do 25 years. Come on. So you need to be focusing on.
I'm not good for that.
I'm not that type. You know what I'm saying? So that's always, and that was me before I even joined the church or anything. I've always been like that, because like I said, I had a son. You know what I'm saying? So for me, just talking to my son and giving him jewels, so I just pass it on to any young man. To try to lead him in the right direction. That's always been me.
You know what's funny about that though? When you talk about mentoring, a lot of times, and Steve really hit on it, like most of the time it's just your time.
Yep.
Yeah. And you don't realize the impact that you have. Right. I'm real quick. I used to work when I used to live over on East End, and I worked at GameStop when it was there over on 71st and Jeffrey, and that little mall where the Dominics and everything was.
Over there by Italian Fiesta.
By Italian Fiesta. And I was the assistant manager there. And when you run a game store, kids are in there all the time. Yeah. They're just always in there. This is one little guy that would come in there. He was a regular. And they always want to, well, can I play this? Can I play this? Or can I check this out? Because we had the systems and everything in the store. We can switch out the games if we wanted to. Most of the time we didn't, because it just kept people in the store. It's like, nah, man, just get out. But this little guy, he would come in and he was a good kid. He would come in and he would hang out and Big Mike, can I play this? Like, no, man, go home. Just go.
Get out of here.
Just get out. You've been here all day. It's like, he'll come in and want to play. And then some days he would come in. I remember it was a couple of days. Probably more than a couple of days. I'm like, dude, why are you in my store this early? I don't know. Why you ain't in school? Because I stayed home from school, but you ain't home. Why are you here?
Right.
It's like, your mama know you here. You know what? Like, you gonna get me arrested because I can't have you in the store. But he would come in, and what I would do is I would give him little things to do.
Yeah.
Like I would have him to straighten up the cases on the wall. Or here, I got these cases. I need you to put the stickers on there. And he would help me put the stickers and stuff on there. And after a minute, I'll let him play whatever it is he want to play. He put some work in. Here you go. You can play this, And or lunchtime it came like, hey, I need you to go run and get me something. All right, what we getting? Fine. So I would end up buying him lunch because he went to go get it. I just went ahead and I would treat him to lunch too. Years passed, and I want to say maybe about 6 years or so ago. I was at a store and I heard somebody say Mike, but this ain't no little kid voice. You know what I'm saying? He like, hey Mike. I'm keep on by my business. Mike. And I'm like, who is calling me? I turn around and I couldn't remember his name, but I recognized his face. He just same kid, just older. He said, Mike, what's going on, man? I was like, hey. He was like, you remember me? And I was like, yeah, GameStop, 71st and Jeffrey. He was like, yeah. He was like, man, what's up? So we talking and everything. And before he left, he said, man, look, he's like, I got here. He was like, but I just want to thank you. He was like, man, when I will come to your store, he said, because my store manager, he was he was like, man, he was like, Joe would always kick me out and never wanted me to come in. He said, man, you never treated me like that. And he was like, you was always nice to me. And he was like, man, and I appreciate that. He said, I still remember them days you would buy me lunch and let me work in the store, man. And he was like, dude, he was like, you just don't know. He said, I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I just want to say, he was like, man, I just want to say thank you. And man, look, man, it's good seeing you. I was like, all right, cool, man. Be good. Who knew?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And now this guy, he went on and he graduated college and he was married and had a little girl and was doing really well. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like, I didn't think that was anything. It was just, man. I'm keeping him off the street. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I would rather for you to be in here than to be out there doing something.
That's right. Yeah.
And man, for him to say that, you just don't know how good that made me feel, because I was just like, man, he was just a little kid that was coming into the store.
Man, Mike, and do you realize that is the connection right there to even getting those young men into the church too?
Yeah.
Because if you now, with that influence that you had, that's able to influence him to be in church. And now if we can get some of those guys like that in church, they'll bring those young guys.
They'll bring other guys in.
They'll bring them. And I think that's where the breakdown is, because it's a direct correlation that when the men aren't there, the families are not there, and the children aren't there. That's why it's so important we have to work on getting the men back there, because that's the key component.
Yes, sir.
How are you trying to bring a family and you leaving components of the especially the main component. Yeah. And if people are criticizing, saying, "Oh, you're being hard on the church with men," it's not that at all. It's addressing the 800-pound elephant in the room.
Thank you.
Because that's what it is. And we're wondering why our congregations are diminishing. We're seeing the men leave and then the youth are following.
Yep.
And no one is picking up that there's a connection there.
And it's so frustrating sometimes. And Phil, that's why I do game nights here. I do game nights here for the boys. Like when they were younger, what I would do is I would say, listen, we're going to have a game night. Invite your friends over. Steve, I would set up like 2, 3, 4 TVs and have like game systems hooked up to it. We would get food and stuff, and they would come here hours.
Video games and all that stuff.
But here's the funny part. While they were here, they talked.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so sometimes they brought up some serious things, but it's like, what that gave me was an insight on what's going on with y'all. And so I was able to say, well, hey, what about this? And they would talk about things. And now, even though most of them are like adults now, because Gabriel is 18 and Michael will be 20 in November.
They friends still hang around though, Mike.
They still hang around. And they was helping us
at the
they was there at the back to school thing.
The back to school thing.
Yeah. And they was like, Mike, man, y'all family. You family, Mr. Wiley, you family. And so those things we may not think about it, but people put such a emphasis on titles and position, and they miss what it's really about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because everything don't have to be so organized, and it ain't got to be so glitzy and glamorous. A lot of times it's just making a connection.
Just make that connection.
Just making those connections, man, and just keeping it. And I think, it's no thinking. If we can just do that and get the men in a position where they are now back in church then you talk about bringing the youth back.
Yep.
That's how you gonna do it.
That's how you're gonna do it.
You know,
I think one of the things people say is I didn't come because Dad didn't come.
Not only that, think about me in a position where my boys come to me and say, Dad, I don't want to go because there's nothing for me to do.
Yep.
What do I tell them?
That's a huge one right now.
You know what I mean? It's like, what do I tell them?
Yep.
You know, because until they get that relationship with the Lord, you know, which will keep them going, they have to have something.
Yep.
That they can hold to and say, this is why I'm going.
And if you don't feel like you have anything reason for going, well, what are you going to impart?
What makes you think? Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's
because Daddy said so.
That don't work nowadays, boy.
So you going because mom? How many of those did we have? That as soon as they go away to college,
as soon as they never came back.
They never come back.
Never.
Some of them don't even go away to college. They just turn 18.
And just ain't going.
Yep.
Just
as soon as I get from under your roof, under your hand, I ain't never coming back.
Yep. But I like these solutions, man. The men ministry design with what men have in mind, the garage groups. You know what? I would love, Steve, if we did just a virtual garage every now and again.
I love that too.
You know, we can do a virtual garage, man, and just have it set up where we just coming together and just talking and chilling. It ain't no pressure conversation.
No pressure at all.
You know, we just coming together, just making sure, you know, look, whatever it is y'all want to talk about, you know, because that's all the garage is. Look, what nobody saying, okay, listen, I'm going to sit out in my garage now. If you guys want to come and talk, just come on. It's just like, hey, so-and-so outside. Let me go on over there and see what he's talking about. You know,
man, did y'all ever watch that show called King of the Hill?
Yes, with Boom Howard. Yes, sir.
The whole premise of that show.
The whole show was them talking, drinking beers, and just talking about nothing.
In front of the garage,
standing right in front of the garage, drinking their beers, talking about.
And I'm thinking about man, I'm out there, man. And you know, man, like what?
Didn't know what he was saying.
You know what Boom Howard was saying, but that's what the whole show. Mentorship programs, fun outings like Super Bowl parties and Real Men Cook. I like that. Community outreach. Now that's a good one too. Community outreach, because when men, that's a way to get men to participate. That's a way to have a man feel like he's working. To put him in a position where he's doing something, accomplishing something.
Yes, sir.
Those habitats for humanity. What else we got here? We got foster a sense of belonging. No man left behind. Absolutely.
That means no clicks.
No clicks. Stop that click for what? You 40 years old.
Yep.
Why are you trying to form a clique?
Yep. We trying to get the men in. So now you get them in there, then a certain group of them break off.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. Well, what's this group? No, that's the fancy group. You don't want to mess with them. Like, oh, well, what group are we?
That would turn a man out. That would turn a man off real quick. Believe me.
That's the worst. It's like, dude, I dealt with that in high school. I don't need to deal with it here.
No.
Single men's ministry is important because sometimes the church do cater more to married men than singles men.
Yep.
So we absolutely need to have singles men. Now, tent meetings, men's prayers, all of these are excellent solutions.
These are great solutions.
Understand, people. These are not end all be all.
No. Yeah, but there's some great solutions though. Those are great solutions though.
Right. These are steps that we can take to some things that we can try to implement
and have done, and they were successful.
And have done and has proven to be successful. Proven to be. Let me tell you something. That men's just having that garage group thing, you will be amazed at how people don't understand the power of a tight-knit group of men.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you have guys that can trust each other and can work together, you talk about stuff that can get done.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. You get a group of tight-knit men together, you're gonna get some stuff done. But all of these things are excellent solutions. And I believe that if for those of you that's watching now, and for those that's gonna watch this later, if you are in church, these are things that you can possibly take back to your local church and maybe get with your pastor and try to implement some of these things to help to grow the men's presence in your church. We are vital.
Yes.
We're vital, guys. I mean, it's important for us to be there because if we're there, then that's us following the direction and the orders that the Lord gave us.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and we can't be out of place and expect things to work. We have to take our place. I'm talking to me as well as everybody else.
It's to us first.
You know, it's to us first. So you know what, man, Pastor Steve, listen, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
These are excellent.
These are some great solutions. Excellent. They really are.
I think what I really want to try to do, I really want to try to maybe get this virtual garage group going, man. And I just like the name, the garage group. That's just dope to me. I don't know why, you know, but I really want to try to implement that and see what we can do, because for a while, me and Phil been trying to get together and say, man, let's just meet up at a Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
Yeah.
And just chill.
We were saying that years ago.
Years ago.
Like get a bunch of brothers. We all meet up at a Buffalo Wild Wings
and just chill.
Just chill. So
you know, I mean, but now
we've done those a few times. We went to Blues games, all of that stuff.
Yep. And now with football season coming back up, man, you know, there may be something that we have to do. We can get a spot, you know, maybe once every couple of months or something, and just say, hey, let's just meet up here, man. We ain't doing nothing. Just come on out and just hang out. You know, I think men need those type of outlets.
They need that time away from the pressures of home.
Yes.
Legitimate pressures, but still need time away. And that's why they are so strung out in terms of stressed out, and they don't want, like, I don't want to come on Sunday. Look, I done had a long week.
I'm just
tired right now.
I need to decompress.
Yes.
Your man on Call of Duty shooting everybody because he's frustrated.
Right. But Mike, let me say something.
Give him a little outlet. Go ahead.
Right.
Let me say something real quick too.
Go ahead, man.
And I, you know, I have to say this. Men in the church, let's all come together. What I mean by that is, don't go having no dinner and just invite a select few and not select the other people.
We ain't gonna even talk about that one.
All right.
We was just saying
don't do that.
That's part of the
Let's all come together as one.
Yes.
Like if we all say we going to a game or we all going to this, I don't want to have to feel like, you know what I'm saying, why I wasn't invited to this or I wasn't invited to that.
But that's
and the first thing we gotta do is we gotta come together.
Yeah, about not having those clicks.
Yeah,
you know
man.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep. But here's the cool thing though. And this is what I love about what we do, right? You know how we don't have to wait for the invitation.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
Just like I don't need to sit at your table. I'll make my own seat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can. Why can't you do it? You get a group of people together and say, hey, we finna go do this, that, and the other. Because here's the thing, and I thank God for this. Our network is growing.
It really is, Mike. I told Jackie that the other day. I said, the little network that we growing, that we getting, it's really growing.
And it's
you guys are consistent.
It's that, and it's by design too, because my goal was to get with like-minded people. And it's not to say that I'm trying to be better, because here's the thing: you can get a lot done working with people.
Yes, you can. Yes,
I don't have to be the headliner, but if we get together with people, they got the same goal and the same energy. Do you realize what we can do? That thing we did, that back to school thing, showed me something, man. As long as you got the right people,
yes,
you can get stuff done,
and
it can be great. That thing didn't do nothing. I was just like, man, I'm so geeked right now. And if the Lord say the same, and I'm still here,
we doing it again next year.
We're gonna do it, and I'm already
make it an annual thing.
Yeah, wheels are already turning, Steve. They already, and I'm just like, man, now
made me feel good.
We got a dope foundation, and I'm just like, you know what? We all we got to do is just build on it.
Yes,
you know what I mean. So we have the ability. And the Lord has given us a faithful following where the people support.
Thank God.
They support. It is. And folks have shown me slowly but surely that our audience is bigger than we think it is.
I told you that a long time ago, Mike. I said,
it was something.
It's folks watching us that we really don't know that's watching us, because a lot of people come back and tell me about it.
People come out and they've supported, and folks that I didn't even know watched the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I thank God for that. And I just asked him, I said, Lord, I just need you to enlarge our territory, but just make it so it's with people that got the same energy and the same goals that we have.
Yeah.
That's my prayer.
Sometimes if you focusing on the likes,
yeah,
and the views,
that's what it is.
You'll base your thinking around that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You can't pay attention to all that.
Exactly. You can't do it.
It's good to watch to kind of keep an eye, but you have to understand that everybody's not going to do that.
Right.
And when it's time for them to show up and show you that
they do. They show up.
If you're real about what you're doing and the Lord is in it, He's got people that's already going to help you out.
Look, post it up like the ram in the bush, son. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You'd be like, man, where did these people even come from? I wasn't even expecting that. But I thank God for it. Listen, real quick, Pastor Steve, you got a special prayer on tomorrow, right?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Tomorrow night, we're doing another live prayer, the GWC Ministries Prayer Works Ministry. We're doing another live prayer. We're calling it the Back to School prayer because our babies, our children are going back to school. Some have already started this week.
Yes, they have.
Others are going to be starting this week, next week. But we are praying for them that they're safe. We know that these issues with this virus and this Delta variant is growing, and a lot of controversy around vaccinations and masks and all of that. And we just need to pray for them. And the other thing is too, especially those that are going away to college. You know, a lot of times we say they go away one way
and they come back.
It's not the same person that comes back.
Oh, gee, I have a testimony for that one, man. I ain't talking about Michael. Because he's actually 90% intact.
That's a good 90%.
That's a good number. I'm praying on that other 10%, but I mean, no, he's cool. But I can personally testify to an instant where somebody who I know went away to school, and when they came back, they were a completely different person. And I mean, to the point where I'm just like, this can't be the same person. You know, like what happened? You know what I mean? It's crazy, but no, that's an awesome prayer.
So we're praying because there's gods out there that are vying for the attention of our young people.
Yes, sir.
You know, everybody's erecting some sort of statue now that they're trying to get our young people to bow down to. And when they go to school, and we're not talking all the way college and high school, these young kids are getting introduced to stuff. When I was coming up,
man,
I'm just gonna put it that way. I can't believe what I'm hearing, but I know it's real. So we're just praying tomorrow at 7 p.m. live.
It's at 7. Okay,
7:00 p.m. tomorrow night, the 11th. And it's not going to be long because we know people don't have a lot of time. But listen, I just ask him, do you all have 15, 20 minutes that you can spare to pray for our babies?
Come on.
Can you just take 20 minutes? Because we're praying for everybody's kids right now, that God will cover them in his blood. The devil is going to try to destroy them. Some of these kids are going out for the first time. They don't know what's going on. They on their own, and they're going to need the covering of the saints praying for them. So I'm asking everybody, parents, don't you just show up without your kids. It's a back to school prayer for the kids. And it's not going to be that effective, but we don't have any kids showing up. This is the time where you get to exercise your authority as the parents of the house and say, this time here at 7 o'clock.
Right.
We turning everything off. We shutting everything down.
Come on.
And we're coming. You're going to sit right here and look, if some of this anointing and prayer just has to splatter on you, I want to put you in position for it to splatter on you. And that's what we're asking the parents to do. Bring them out. It's not going to be a long prayer, but listen, we don't want the devil taking these kids.
That's right.
We don't want gun violence get them. We don't want stray bullets. We don't want drugs and alcohol and sex and pornography.
Come on.
And the peer pressure, all that. Our kids are dealing with stuff that, you know, unless you really got a strong relationship with God,
man,
you ain't gonna be able to resist that stuff on your own.
You ain't gonna be able to do it.
And if we ain't praying for them and letting them know we praying for them,
right?
Then we can't. Then we sit on the altar, wonder what praying God deliver them. We like, well, I offered enough time for you to cover them, and you didn't bring them.
Right.
That's the thing pastors deal with all the time. pastors are putting all these programs in place for our children, and then the parents don't bring them.
Don't bring them. Man.
And then the first one that they want to come to when the child in trouble is the one that had the program you ain't want to come to.
Wow. So look, Pastor Steve, make sure. Now, did you already put it out there for?
Yeah, I did it last week. I think I did a reminder this morning too.
Yeah,
make sure
30-second Facebook Live video.
Tag me in that.
Please,
so
tag us in it so I can share it. Yeah,
all right.
So I can share it, man. Because listen, it's crazy out here.
Yeah.
You know, we need to pray for the kids. We need to pray for the teachers.
Yes.
You know, I mean, listen, we got to pray for, because it's, you know, this stuff, it ain't going away no time soon.
Nah.
You know, and so we need to just pray for the Lord's protection. And I know that he's kept us this far.
That's right.
And I believe that he will continue to do it. We're just going to pray for the Lord's protection and ask him just to keep his angels encamped around us.
Yes,
and we're going to pray for these babies' safety, and he going to take them and bring them back home safe. Every day for the whole school year, incident free.
Successful in school.
Successful.
Listen, Jesus plus education.
Come on.
Right.
Success.
That's right.
You ain't heard that, did you? So listen, Pastor Steve, why don't you give the people your website, and not your website, but your Facebook page and your YouTube channel, so they'll know where they can find you.
All right, so you guys can just pull up GWC Ministries on the Facebook. It has its own page. Also, you can go to YouTube. If you just start typing GWC, we're thankful now that it's been enough traffic going there that it doesn't take but a hot second for us to come right on up. So thank you.
That's a beautiful thing. I love
that. So we're not hard to find. I'm always on Facebook. I'm on Voices Rising Up. So you can go there as well. And listen, just subscribe too. And I'm asking you all as a personal favor to Pastor Steve that if you have not subscribed to the Manup podcast,
come on,
you need to make it your business to do that. Not tomorrow,
today,
right now.
Let's do
Please.
it. Subscribe and like and share.
Yes, sir.
Look, you women that's listening, get this to your husbands.
Yes.
You want to we trying to help y'all women. Y'all may not realize it.
Look, come on. We're trying to help y'all.
We trying to help y'all wives out here. Listen, y'all trying to slip that track underneath that plate when you hand it to them.
Well, what is that? What church is that for?
How did that get there? Oh my goodness!
How did that get there? Lord, God trying to say something. It's like, oh.
So we trying to help y'all. So y'all make sure say, honey,
is that a Bible?
I want you to watch something with me. Let's watch something together, babe.
There you go. Look, and here's what's great about our show. The women folk love watching the show too.
They love us.
Yeah,
they try. Look, here's how I know. Here's how I know. We got women. People who watch the show. We did a show that said 5 reasons why your man may be tired of you. and do you know? It was so many women that came to us after that was like, listen, we enjoyed that show. Because
y'all glad y'all was in the safety of y'all homes on that one.
No, we wasn't. That's the crazy part.
I think we did it on Voices Rising.
We did it at Voices Rising. That was the first live that we did.
The first live we ever done.
The first live we ever did. And I said, if we're gonna do it, let's do it big. And we did 5 reasons why your man may be tired of you. And man, that thing
they chimed in and they called in.
They chimed and called in. So it was a great episode, man. We got great, wonderful women that follow and support us, and I appreciate each and every last one of them. I can't name them all because then I might forget some of them, and then they get personal.
Don't even try. Don't even try to.
But y'all know who you are. Y'all know I love y'all. Y'all know I appreciate y'all. And for everyone else, I appreciate and love you all as well. Yes. I appreciate all the support that you have given us over the years, and preferably the support that you will continue to give us in the future. Yes. Listen, we do this because of y'all.
That's right.
The whole reason why I do it. You know, I mean, because I just think that, you know, good conversation can change the world. You know, it just starts with a conversation, you know, and this is a lot of times it's therapeutic for me. That's why I feel be like, man, we be having we be doing case studies on you. I'll be like, man, I'll be going through some things. But
I'm telling you, we had a breakthrough. We had a breakthrough that day.
I had a couple of breakthroughs, man. But it's good though, because like I mean, again, you never know who's listening.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And who may get something from it. And that's the name of the game. If it's one person
Yes.
that hear what we're talking about, and it's something in them that they can say, man, you know what? They may view it a little bit differently, or they may think a little bit differently.
That's okay.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I think we did what we set out to do. So we thank God for you all. We pray a special blessing over all of y'all for all the love and the support that you've given us. And as long as you guys keep on supporting, we're gonna keep doing this thing until the Lord say otherwise. So listen, on behalf of Mr. Hines and Pastor Gibson, we thank y'all and we love y'all. And y'all come on out to this prayer on tomorrow night.
Yes.
That's right.
Come on out to this prayer. 10-15 minutes. That's all he asking. 10-15 minutes to pray for your babies and their safety. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. You got 10-15 minutes. You got a DVR. Just record that show and go back to it. Stop playing. Half of y'all ain't even watching TV now. No way. Yeah, you're already online. Yeah. You're already on Facebook. Right. You're already there. So just go ahead and click on to the link.
I got the summer league. I got the NBA summer league.
I know. Look, Phil don't think he's slick. I be watching him. He be looking at the TV and trying to look at the camera at the same time.
The Bulls getting smashed right now, so it don't matter.
Wow.
Is it thundering over there by you?
I just heard it now.
Yeah,
man, it's kicking off over here, man.
Yeah, it's probably headed this way. But look, guys, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out, man. Until we talk again, my friends, y'all get 2 fingers to the side. Holla at your boys, because we are officially out.
Peace.